Yes, the Earth has Coriolis, and that is a proven fact, not up for debate.
Well, you heard it first. Now here comes the part where he denies it over and over.
So if I put a airplane flying at the equator east, going 500 miles per hour, and the Earth is spinning 1,000, does the airplane lag behind?
That's not Coriolis.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Coriolis is the apparent deflection of an object moving in a rotating system.
Okay, so it lagging behind, that's not Coriolis.
Does the Earth have Coriolis?
Yes.
So if I let go of a helium balloon, does the Earth rotate under it? Does it deviate?
Not very much because it's going up. There is some Coriolis enacting on a balloon as it rises through the atmosphere. But there's not going to be very much.
So there's no Coriolis on the flying airplane, but there is Coriolis on the balloon that's going up. Yeah, cool story, bro.
Does the atmosphere move with the Earth, or does it move separate?
It moves with the Earth, yes.
So no Coriolis.
How did you get that?
If the atmosphere is moving perfectly in lockstep, is that what you're saying? It moves in perfect lockstep. At all altitudes.
I mean, there's jet streams, but yes, it moves with the Earth, yes.
Jet streams and trade winds go in opposite directions. They refute your Coriolis. But clouds move in all directions.
Correct, because they're moving in relation to the atmosphere. The atmosphere itself is moving this way, but things can move within the atmosphere.
So the atmosphere moves in perfect lockstep, but clouds move in all directions. Wow.
So if we hover a helicopter, does the Earth rotate under it and it deviates?
So that's not Coriolis, because the Coriolis only is affected by things moving.
Oh, kind of like that airplane that you denied Coriolis on.
Okay, you can recreate Coriolis on a merry-go-round, right?
Correct.
If you hover a drone above a spinning merry-go-round, does the merry-go-round spin under the drone?
Is the drone moving with the merry-go-round?
If it was, there'd be no Coriolis. There'd be no Coriolis effect.
Okay, that's not Coriolis, though.
Yes, it is.
So the atmosphere moving with the Earth is not Coriolis.
Yeah, exactly like I said earlier. If the atmosphere moves with the Earth, there's no Coriolis.
Well, the Earth is really, really big, and everything is already moving with it. And the atmosphere,
so there's no Coriolis.
That's not what the Coriolis is, dude.
What is the Coriolis? Define it.
So the Coriolis is when you are moving in relation to the Earth as it spins, okay?
Yeah, kind of like that airplane he denied Coriolis on.
So I'm spinning it on the axis. As we move from one place to another, the Earth is going to have a certain amount of spin while we're in the air. And that is because we're moving from latitude along the latitude lines. Because the helicopter is not moving in relation to the Earth, it does not experience Coriolis.
Okay. Oh, great. So we move it north. Does the Earth rotate under it?
A little bit, yeah.
This guy just legit makes shit up on the spot. We move the helicopter north. It rotates under the helicopter. We fly a plane north. The Earth doesn't rotate under the plane.
Are you serious? You know that the equator is moving 460 meters a second or 1,500 feet per second at the equator, right?
Yes.
So if an airplane is flying over the equator north to south, does the equator spin 1,500 feet sideways under the airplane?
In relation to the airplane, no.
But in relation to the helicopter, yes.
In an airplane, they're not going to correct for Coriolis because they have to correct for wind more than Coriolis.
Does a sniper have to adjust for Coriolis?
Slightly, yeah, depending on the directions they shoot.
So an airplane that flies over the Earth thousands of miles doesn't have to account for Coriolis. But a bullet that's in the air for 2 seconds has to account for Coriolis.
Yes, because when we're shooting with this,
yeah, you said it rotates under the bullet, right? Does it?
Slightly, yeah.
Does it rotate under the airplane?
Slightly, yeah.
Oh, so now it does rotate under the airplane.
Is 10 feet to a plane that can correct while it's flying a lot?
Yeah, it could miss the runway.
Yeah, but we're correcting the entire time.
Oh, so now the airplane is correcting the entire time now. It doesn't move with the atmosphere anymore.
I thought you said planes don't adjust for Coriolis.
They adjust for wind more. They don't say, oh, this is the Coriolis suggestion.
Oh, so now they're not constantly adjusting. They just fly.
You're supposed to be telling me where the Earth has Coriolis, not where it doesn't.
It does have Coriolis. It's just not enough to matter.
Not enough to matter, but snipers have to adjust for it.
Told you. So if we let go of a helium balloon at the equator, the Earth rotates under the helium balloon 460 meters. Yes or no?
So is the helium balloon still in the atmosphere?
Yeah.
Then no, it does not, because it's moving
so no
with
Coriolis.
the atmosphere. No,
Yeah,
so
no Coriolis.
You can just not understand what Coriollis is. That's fine. There is going to be a little bit of Coriollis, but really not enough to be measurable.
Oh, but he just told everybody earlier that snipers have to account for it. Okay, cool story, bro. My work is done here. Earth is stationary.
Airplanes cannot fly on a spinning ball, Earth rotating from west to east at 1,040 miles per hour. A flight from east to west would take half of its time. Or the airplane would be dragged backwards due to a rotating atmosphere. The only way flights can work is on a flat and non-rotating Earth.
The yearly path of the sun, called the analemma, the solar analemma, which model of the Earth does it line up with? Let's take a look. So I posted this video a few days ago about the sun's analemma. It makes this figure 8. This right here is filmed from the north. So if you look, the sun's high in the sky here, and it's making this small loop. That means summertime for the north. The larger loop down here on the bottom would be wintertime for the north. Okay, now here's a video. On the right side, it's 45 degrees north in Montreal, Canada. On the left side, it's 45 degrees south in Chile. Now, both high points up here is the summer, and both of the low points where the sun is at is going to be the winter. Pay attention to the size of the loops correlated with the seasons. So as you see here, remember the right is the north, the left is the south. As you see here, the small loop is summer for the north. The large loop over here is summer for the south. The large loop over here is winter for the north. The small loop is winter for the south. So pay attention to the loops and the seasons. As you know, the claim is on the globe, the seasons and the solar analemma is determined by the tilt. So summer and winter right here, and then it flip-flops with winter and summer right here. Now, does this line up with the analemma, with the small loop and big loop on a symmetrical globe? So now let's look at a flat Earth map. So you see in the south summer, the sun is on the larger loop, the Tropic of Capricorn. Then it makes its way to the equator, making its way to the Tropic of Cancer, which in the north would be the northern summer, which is where it's at right now, the small loop. And that process just reverses itself as it goes back out to the equator and then all the way back out to the Tropic of Capricorn on the larger loop. So you see small loop in the middle, large loop on the outside of this flat Earth map. So back to the still image of the video that I showed earlier. So look, the larger loop is always representing the sun's position when it's on the outside ring of the flat Earth map, which is the Tropic of Capricorn. The small loop is always representing the sun's position on the smaller circle, which is the Tropic of Cancer on a flat Earth map. And here is the analemma projected on that flat Earth map. And then here is the analemma projected on a globe map. You make the decision on which one you think it lines up with. I think it's pretty clear.
So according to John Delafield Jr., an inquiry into the origin of the antiquities of America, published in 1839, he tends to think tradition carries the possession of this country by the Tartar nation back to the earliest days of the peopling of the world, yet we know their ancestors built them not. But also in the museum at St. Petersburg are preserved a multitude of vessels, diadems, weapons, military trophies, ornaments of dress, coins, etc., which have been found in the Tartarian tombs in Siberia. Frequent memorials are found there of ancient grandeur, magnificence, and culture, of which some are of an antiquity demonstrably above 1,000 years. And it just never stops. Before the Great Inundation, which took place 4,800 years after the creation of the world, the country of Anuhak, Mexico, was inhabited by giants. So a lot of people like to throw around the theory of Tartarian nation being worldwide. This book says it's so. Chinese Tartary, Russian Tartary, Mongolian Tartary, and then America's native people, the denizens, true denizens of this nation, were Tartarian people. They had Tartarian mounds, they had tumuli, they called them. In Russia, all the stuff they found in these Tartarian tombs and these structures that dated back before them 1,000 years. So their ancestors didn't even build it. It was before them. And this history just goes on and on and on. But it's all the main areas of the world have some form of Tartar attached to them. All of them.
So if you're involved in the science game and you're indoctrinated and you don't believe in the flat realm, this is what you believe happens to light when the sun goes over the curve. Now, if I told you the sun was nothing but a perspective illusion and it didn't go over the curve, I know you wouldn't believe me. But would you believe Google? The sun going over the curve. When we say the sun going over the curve, it refers to the visual perception of the sun appearing to descend behind the Earth's horizon at sunset, creating the illusion of the sun going over the curve due to the Earth's curvature. Even though the sun itself is not actually curving, it's simply our perspective from the Earth's surface that makes it appear that way. So let me just reiterate. They believe that the light bends and that there is a magical force making it bend. And once again, that is just not true. It is just an illusion of perception from the further distance that it goes away from our line of sight. You still not believe me? Are you still imbounded by science? Well, check this out.
This is a quick magic trick called angular resolution. There's no quarter on the table. You can't see one. It's a flat table too, I promise you. But watch what happens when I apply a little technological magic. There it is, in full view.
Flat table.
Watch as it disappears from the bottom
But
up
it
as
disappears from our
back
perspective because of the further distance it goes away. And it's gone. Sight perception, also known as visual perception, is the ability to interpret what we see using light. It's a complex process that involves the eyes, optic nerve, and brain. This road is not higher up there than it is here. It's the same height, but it goes higher due to perception. Now, with the fact it goes higher, smaller, and thinner, that's because it's disappearing from our line of sight. Now, this field at the top is not higher than this field at the bottom. It just moves to the line of perception. Now, if there was clouds there, they wouldn't be touching the ground. They would be as high in the sky as the clouds here. But our line of perception makes it disappear. So let me just think, where in the world do we have millions and millions of miles of a flat surface? That's right, the sea. And there it is, guys. Our line of sight is only about 3 miles long. Boats don't disappear over the horizon and curve. They just lose sight, lose perception. If we just try for 1 second to ignore everything we've been programmed to believe, physically in our life, all we can ever experience is geocentrism. And we have had no choice but to believe the heliocentric model because it's been programmed in us from birth. Our natural senses don't lie to us. That's what they're here for. We see as we see, we feel as we feel. The heliocentric model is nothing but fiction. And our experience without NASA is just a beautiful geocentric model made by our beautiful almighty creator that has put us here to be safe and live a beautiful life. If I told you guys that this beautiful waterfall right here could defy gravity and start magically flowing upwards, would you think I'm crazy? The answer is yes. But why does NASA do the exact same thing and everyone believes it? This river right here is the longest flowing river in the world at 4,187 miles long. The River Nile. Now this river flows from south to north. Now to put that in concept, This river is flowing 4,187 miles upwards up the ball. We literally live in a world where the majority of people are programmed to be ignorant to common sense. No one can deny that water has to flow downwards. It never flows upwards up the ball. It's a little bit equal to the fact that we've never landed here, and it's not even a rock. There is an undoubtable amount of evidence that we can prove of living under a dome in an enclosed system where everything works perfectly under the power of our Creator. And there is no proof that we can physically do in our realm ever to prove water sticking to a ball spinning round in a vacuum of space and infinity. Are we really spinning at 1,000 miles an hour? And I know science always has an explanation, like relative velocity, and the reason why helicopters don't take in count for rotation is because of inertia, which apparently is a natural tendency of objects in motion. Like planes over the clouds, they don't take in Earth's rotation because of inertia. And even if you jump out of said plane, you will not be affected by the Earth's rotation because of relative velocity. And obviously anything in the sky is just relative to velocity, so they don't have to care about the Earth's rotation, it just doesn't matter. And even if you take that big leap from space, the Earth's rotation will not affect you. No matter how hard I try to look, I cannot find proof of the Earth's rotation if you take away scientific explanations that we cannot prove ourselves. And we just have to accept anomalies and explanations just because they tell us. Would anybody like to join me in my little brainstorm right now? If the centre of our Earth is made out of molten lava, which is liquid fire, then how is the depths of our ocean freezing? Like, literally let that sink in. Middle of the Earth hot, bottom of the ocean cold. There's another little confusion of life that it reminds me of. But once again, middle of the Earth hot, bottom of the ocean cold. Hey Jack, have you never watched a movie before? Of course, rockets just go straight up. They shoot straight up into our atmosphere and then they go to places like the moon. You idiot. Well, that's what I used to think, but have you seen the actual trajectory of the rockets that go up into space? Because they don't half resemble something I like to talk about quite a lot, if you get what I mean. Uno comprende? Me no understande? Truth in plain sight? We live in an enclosed system that's totally stationary and beautifully created by our divine Creator. And there is not one bit of science on this realm that can prove me otherwise. Just go out and experience what your eyes can see. We're not moving. It's not curved. And we've been lied to.
Are you still defending that the Earth is flat?
Until do not show me the sphericity or curvature on the horizon is impossible. Until they teach me how water bends in the ocean, it's impossible. It's flat, without any doubt. Maybe you can tell me that. I'm salty and such. The years will pass. I'm totally sure, because in the end the truth comes to light. But they have been deceiving you since you came into the world.
But that the Earth is flat, it surely is. If there is, comments in context, yes, you have to win and share.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Idialenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.